This is the last part of the parametric swinging chair tutorial. In this part, we'll fix some of the issues introduced in previous videos, and we'll also make the chair swing. One of the issues I would like to fix is that you can currently set the seat height to go above the height of the frame. While ideally the seat height plus the armrest height should never exceed this line. So to do that, I'm going to go into the seat, this part specifically, and where I am placing it, I'm going to say instead of just grabbing the seat height, we're going to grab the lower value of either the seat height or the total height, so that's just height, minus the arm height, the armrest height, sorry. So let's see if that does any better. So this stops the seat from going any higher, but the armrest still goes higher. It also goes just a little bit further than I would like, so I'm going to say twice. It needs to be at least twice the armrest height below the height of this. So it's fairly easy. In the armrest height, I'm just going to multiply that by 2. Then for the actual armrest, which is this one, let's see. I want this to be, going to open this in an editor with Alt-E. So we're currently adding the seat height, but instead of the seat height, I'm going to add this value here. So that is, I'm just going to grab the transform 2, and then I'm going to grab the transform Y and see if that does any better. So now if I move the seat height higher, it caps it. So we should probably also prevent the seat from going under the ground. So back into the seat height, we're going to grab the maximum between this one and the negative of the Y min. And I'm just going to add a little bit of buffer to it, so it needs to be at least 4 centimeters above the ground. So if I look at that, that looks about right. Oh, actually, no, it's not, because these planks stick out just a little bit further. So I'm going to add 1 plank size to that. Let's see, where was that? In here. So variables, and then seat plank height. So now the last plank is at least 4 centimeters above the ground. All right, let's see if there are other variables that we urgently need to fix. this, I mean, 10 is very excessive, but it's fine. This angle seems to be fine. The seat height we have already fixed. It's not pretty at this size, but it still works. All right, okay, we can probably fix some things with the armrest height, where the armrest height should never be allowed to be higher than the top of this. So let's add a max to this. No, sorry, a min to this, which is we just want to grab the bounding box maximum of that curve, because the seat of the curve is that did not go as intended, because I have to add this to right. Okay, this has to go right here, I think. Yeah. So yeah, we still want to add the seat height to this value. So now if I set the armrest much higher, it will stop. But sadly, the support still grows. So let's see what we can do there. For the support. Okay, so it's grabbing the armrest height here, but we are capping the armrest height. We're capping the armrest height here. So we should probably grab the capped version of the armrest height. So I'm just gonna paste that in, or not successfully. Let's try that again. I wanted to grab this min armrest height and yeah, this whole thing, and then paste that in here. That's better. So now we can check the armrest height. That's better. Oh, for the actual height of the seat, we probably also want to use the capped value. So I'm just gonna go back here to where we're using the armrest height. If you're using a variable this frequently, it is probably worth it to store it somewhere, just because this kind of syntax becomes very difficult to read. So if you have a capped version, that you can just store that inside of the variables node, make it non-editable, and that will just probably be a lot clearer. But it is now capped here, and now one more thing I wanted to adjust is make sure that this cannot happen. So transform this, move it backwards by, in the set direction, move it by minus a half of the width. So that's just the seat blank height, but just going to copy this reference, minus this times 0.5. And see if that works any better. Because now when you adjust this, I think that's a little nicer. And when you move the armrest down, yeah, I think that's better. Cool. I think for the inner and outer radius, probably we can probably fix this. Let's see, how do we want these to sit? Let me think. Do we always want this to be 2.5 times? Let me just check if that actually works. The outer radius is always 2.5 times the inner radius, and there's always a bit of spacing. Maybe 2.5 was not the right value. 2.25 seems to work. Okay. Alternatively, you could change the resample to take your the width and the well, the inner and the outer radius of your chain links into consideration while you're resampling. But I think this will work just fine for me. As the very last thing in this tutorial, I would like to make the bench actually swing. So I'm going to add 2 variables for that. Gonna create a folder and call this swing loop. Yeah, sorry. And within that, I'm going to add a float, which is loop time. And swing amount. I'm going to set this between 0 and 90, but I'm not going to lock either. And the loop time, I'm going to make that between 0 and 240. Yeah. Then I am going to set this to f_end. That just takes the end of your timeline. So in this case, 240 frames, and I'm gonna make it swing by 45 degrees, I think. So the actual things we want to swing are the chair and the chains. So we're just going to merge those here. That still looks good. I'm going to add a transform. And I'm going to rotate on the x-axis. So from here, I'm going to rotate, which is a sine. One thing to watch out for is that the sine wave in expressions expects a value in degrees, while I believe the sine wave in vex expects a value in radians. So what you're putting in here is a little bit different than what you would put in vex. But I want to take the frame and I want to multiply that by, well, because it's a value in degrees, every time this reaches 360, it will be one exact loop. So I'm going to take 360 and divide that by the value we just created in our variables, which was loop time, I believe. Yes. Then make sure I close the right amount of brackets. Yes, and then multiply that by the other variable we created, which was the swing amount. Yes. And I think I miscounted some brackets. So Yes, I did miscount some brackets. All right. So now if I start playing this, oh, I put it in the set value after I said it should be X. So now if we play this, it rotates around the wrong pivot. It uses 0 as the pivot, so we're going to just offset that pivot to be, we just want it to be in the center all the way at the top here. So that is the Y max. And now it loops exactly every 240 frames because that's the loop amount we put in. You can, well, set this to any value you want. If I set this to half the timeline, it will loop every 120 frames. So it goes a lot quicker. If I set this to something much higher, it will only play half a loop in our timeline. But yeah, you can configure this however you want. This will do it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If there are any other tutorials you would like to see, please let me know, and let me know if there's anything I can do better. Thank you very much.